365 days a year. Of course, our best bet's always over at the premium area, but we do give out free picks here. And it is a light schedule today, so that means a combo premium VIP show today as well. But, since we do have a light schedule, we can talk about some other things as well. NFL training camps, mini camps, all that kind of stuff getting underway. And on top of that, college football recruiting has never started earlier than it does now. And just odd, just the way that they treat the recruiting. And, being a Miami fan, we've always felt that there was a bias against Miami, and you see it, front and center this recruiting season, not necessarily from the recruits, but from the recruiting ranking services and the wide range that you're seeing these players ranked, and depending, and movement among these rankings. And of course, this always shakes out on the field. And guys that just because they're seen as the top rated players, I could tell you, off the top of my head, 10 players that were rated number one overall, coming, at the number one ranked recruit overall, which ended up busting out, and guys that you never have heard of. I could name 10 off the top of my head, for that. But at the same time, when you see a player who's ranked number 30 overall, who's ranked number 2 or 1 at his position in the nation, and then he signs with Miami and he drops to 95, you kind of have to say, well, maybe there is some bias since there was no game played in between Saturday and today, right? So what exactly happened there with, in some of this stuff? I kind of have to say that, Jaden Wayne's ranking, I don't know. He was ranked 30th overall in the country. He was ranked the 5th edge rusher in the country. He was ranked the 13th best overall player in the country. He drops to 30th when he says he's interested in signing with Miami. He drops to 41st after signing, and in some services as high as like ESPN to 90s, in the 90s. How is that possible?
Well, I don't know why there would be a bias against Miami, but obviously there's something going on here, because that doesn't make any sense.
But that is exactly what has happened here. And you have to start to think that maybe these places that have a tie-in to some of these other conferences and have a financial interest in the viewability of the product of certain conferences would say that their players come in higher ranked and more talented. Still in the ESPN rankings, Miami has the most players signed in the ESPN top 300. They have, Ohio State just signed the 23rd ranked in the ESPN rankings. Miami still has 2 players ranked ahead of the highest Ohio State player ranked. But at the same time, to see guys like Jaden Wayne, and this will all play out on the field. It will all play out on the field. And when you have players at this level, I think you just have to question, though, the system, right? The rating system, and just what exactly is the goal here? What does it mean? And how does this happen as Rivals still has Wayne ranked 13th best overall in the class of 2023. ESPN now at
95.
Yeah, 95. So, I don't know. He drops from 5 stars to 4 stars overnight. How does this exactly happen? But like I said, these are the type of things that Miami players and as a team have rallied around for many, many years. This is why, the chip on their shoulder, certain teams can take a loss during the regular season. Miami knows, if they take a loss, their season is over. Ohio State, Notre Dame, Alabama, schools like that won 2 losses, they're still talked about, as the number 1 team in the country. Miami loses a game, they drop, out of the rankings. But this one is kind of a real head scratcher, as far as I'm concerned. Wayne dropped to 85th, and now he's dropped into the 90s, as Chris has said. I don't get it. But like I said, it will all play out on the field, and we will see it. And I believe that Miami still has some big names that they're in the running for as well to add to this monster recruiting class that Mario Cristobal is putting together in Coral Gables. Just interesting. I think in the NFL, the big news is a lot of big names in trouble. As far as their jobs go, a lot of big salaries out there, and teams, they don't care about where you were drafted. They don't care about what they've invested in you. If you're not producing, you got to go. And, I think at the other side, maybe a little bit too much faith put into some players. Brian, I know that you're a P.J. Walker guy for the Panthers.
Well, from his XFL days, P.J.
Right.
Walker was a star in the XFL.
But would you rather have Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Corral all above him, or would you rather have him? Because I think when you have Corral, Darnold, and Mayfield there, you might have too many guys that feel that they should be the guy, And does that cause a rift inside?
You can never have too many possible starting quarterbacks here because, in the NFL preseason, there should be a competition and play itself out, and a player can get cut. What's Mayfield's contract? Is it guaranteed? I'm interested to see that the Panthers that play out in the field. But P.J. Walker, let's be real here. He's a backup at best, maybe third stringer. But I'm a P.J. Walker guy. He's a value quarterback.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
No, I was gonna say, I think for me, Matt Corral's the odd man out in that system, mainly because he doesn't fit. I don't see the Panthers as a sling it downfield kind of team. They've got DJ Moore, they've got Robbie Anderson, but it's not like the style that he played at Ole Miss, where it's throwing for 6,000 yards in a season. It's Christian McCaffrey option number 1, and then passing game for me is secondary. So I think Baker Mayfield fits in that style, but I don't know. The pickup of Matt Corral was kind of a head scratcher for me.
But the reality is that he's there.
Yeah.
And it's like you're not going to get rid of your 3rd round draft choice right out of the gate. That's not going to happen.
I'm not saying they're going to get rid of him. I'm just saying just the pickup maybe at draft time was the head scratch for him. He's the best available at the time they wanted him. So
most likely Darnold's going to get cut. Just
cut?
Top of my head.
I think they'll try to move him for something.
I don't think cut is in the offing there. I think it's a pretty big deal. But anyways, got Major League Baseball action today. I think it's time. We have time to talk football as it gets closer. It's I think college football. We're in for obviously. The landscape is changing, in college football, and, we'll have to see exactly how it all shakes out. In the NFL, I think, the salary cap era is in full force, and, paying guys that aren't producing, they'd rather bite the bullet, take the hit on the guaranteed money, on any guaranteed money there is, and the cap hits, than to sit there and lose year after year, which is refreshing. Chris,
I just looked.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just looked at the cap hit for Sam Darnold for 2022 is $18.8 million. So I guess he's not getting cut.
Niners saying that Jimmy Garoppolo's $23 million cap hit would not affect them one bit. So okay. We'll have to see how that one shakes out. But
Trey Lance.
Well, it's your grave, It's
he's gonna have a big season this year.
Sure he is. Sure he is. you look at other players that, you look at that Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold draft class now, right? Of those quarterbacks, you had, okay, let's just, and this is off the top of my head. I don't have the list in front of me. I'm sure Chris will have it by the time we get to him, but Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Josh Rosen were all in the discussion. Okay, that was the discussion, was these three players. Now you have two of them on the same team. It's I don't know. Where's Josh Rosen now?
Stock and grocery shelves.
Trader Joe's.
So, anyways, that's interesting. And, you look around the league, guys like Farrell on the Raiders, obviously, he's in trouble. They've gone other directions here. Here's guys, 2 years in. A guy that I thought was going to be a superstar, Chazon, on the Jaguars, probably on his way out. 2 years in. 2 years in, they're giving these guys. It's like, you don't produce, you're out. We're not paying you, It's crazy, right?
Well, there'll be a spot for him in the XFL, USFL.
I think it's going to be a hell of an XFL with, some of the talent that's going to be available out there. It's going to be a hell of an XFL season. Well, let's get to today's Major League Baseball schedule. And unless you guys have anything more to add there about this.
No, I'm looking forward to football in general and NFL preseason. So
I think college football is always one of my, is my favorite sport, and it's how I got involved online. And I think, the beauty of college football is the authenticity of the fan base, and it's like that is what makes college football and college sports what it is. And to identify the phony balonies out there of the new sites, the people that pop up, they don't know the lingo, right? So it's like these are the things to watch for. If someone says something like "Go USC" or "Go Tide" or "Go Alabama," they don't know what they're talking about. Or "Go Auburn," right?
Yeah, I was just going to say
it's
go
like
Auburn
you
or
don't
Tide.
know college football at all. You have no business even discussing it. It would be probably the same thing as me like talking Canadian football or something. It's like I have no clue.
We can make you a convert.
Well, or hockey. It's like all of a sudden acting like I'm an expert or like I know what I'm talking about. It's like, go Tide. Nothing more annoying. I have to tell you that the real college football fans get super offended when you refer to their teams incorrectly. I can tell you I've had writers I've had to fire because of, the way that they've talked about college football teams, in particular Auburn, not addressing them correctly.
I think I was Tennessee. I think I got a talking to about Tennessee.
Oh, man. The one thing I learned in my early days online, you can mess up in NFL and NBA, but you do not want to mess up college football because they will absolutely undress you, these fan bases. Go Tide.
I got a talking to about North Texas if that doesn't tell you how diehard they can be.
You want to identify like a Euro website, like a non-US website, where they're talking about things. That's how you pick it up. Things like Go Tide, Go USC, it's like Go Auburn, right? They say things like this that are inauthentic to the sport, right? Like Go Horns, right? Stuff like that. Like you have Texas Horns, you have Jahar right here saying, talking about the horns. It's like, it's hook 'em horns, right? It's not Go Horns. It's not Go Texas. It's not any of those things. There's only one way. It's hook 'em horns, right? And same thing. Go, Oklahoma fans on the other side of it, right? Go Sooners, right? It's the same thing, It's like, it's Boomer Sooner, There is no like other way that's acceptable or okay with it, It's like, I hate fakes, the fakes. College sports certainly expose those. And the thing that I always explain to people when they come to our website is like, these are people you do not want to mess with because like I'm a Miami fan, right? And it's not like Go Miami either, It's like we're Go Canes, right? And it's like you do not. We bleed this. This is you like people like NFL teams or like NBA teams, but when you're a real college fan, you bleed that. That is that's your if they buried me in an orange and green coffin, I'm good. Anyways, let's get to it. Got the Tigers and the Royals, 2:10 p.m. Eastern Time early start here. We've got the Marlins taking on the Pirates, and the Rays and the Red Sox. Chris, what do you think of these three?
Yeah, I think this doubleheader for the Royals and Tigers is going to be interesting, but I like the over 9 in game 1 between Pineda and Keller. Especially Brad Keller, he's got solid stuff. It's just the results haven't come through for him, and I think this is just another spot where he gives up a few runs even to a lackluster Tigers offense. But I think the Royals get to Pineda as well, and I think this one finishes around a 6-5, 7-6 kind of game. Start the day with a bang. So take the over in that one, and I also like the over between the Pirates and Marlins, as well as the Yurfie, Mitch Keller, Trevor Rogers. For me, enough said. These are two guys that are probably at the back end of their respective rotations. I expect there to be a lot of runs in that one. I'm also going to take the Tampa Bay Rays. I think the Rays are a lot better than what we saw in Cincinnati on the weekend, and the Red Sox just had that 4-game war with the Yankees. I think it's going to take a lot out of them. I lean towards the Rays, but the Rays are also coming back off a double-digit game road trip, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But I lean towards the Rays.
Brian?
Me and Chris are in 100% agreement, which doesn't always happen, but I'll take it because Chris is red hot. I like the Tigers and Royals over the 9 runs. You got Michael Pineda, he's a 5-inning guy, and Keller for the Royals, who's been hit or miss. I think once these bullpens go in late, when you see that seep over. The over 7.5 seems almost too easy in the Pirates and Marlins because and I also like yes runs first inning, which also seems pretty easy. Trevor Rogers has been weak link for Miami this year, and Mitch Keller, nothing to write home about. I don't see how it can't go over 7.5, but this is gambling. There's always a risk. Boston Red Sox and Tampa Bay Rays. I think this might be the better of the three. I like Tampa Bay here. They've lost 3 straight. Boston coming off that huge Sunday Night Baseball win. So I just think Tampa Bay gets back on track here with the bullpen game.
Yeah, Bello did not look Major League ready in that when we saw him last time out. And the Rays certainly going to be a little bit on the hungry side. I think Rogers is starting to put it together a little bit. I think, there's a reason he's sticking in that Marlins rotation. I mean, he obviously is super talented. And, there were times where he was considered to be the number 1 starter, for the Marlins. So I think certainly not horrible. Keller, I mean, good luck with it. That's what I got to say to that one. And, you got, the double Keller here. The Royals, hideous coming off of wins, one of the worst. So the early game is Tigers for me. And that Rays, Red Sox, just think it's an over, Got the White Sox against the Guardians. A little bit of love here from the odds makers on the White Sox for some reason. Got the Cardinals and the Phillies. I don't know. And then the big one, the Reds, the Braves and the Mets. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I like the over 9 as well. White Sox and Guardians. Lance Lynn, he hasn't been able to keep runners off of the base pass. He did have a solid start against San Francisco, but I just worry that's going to be an issue against the Guardians. But on the other side, Cal Quantrill's had his issues with the White Sox in the past as well. So I think it's going to be just a higher scoring game. The wind's blowing out big time in Cleveland today. So look for that one to be high scoring. And I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Phillies here. I don't always love backing the Phillies. But for the better part of the series, they've had St. Louis's number. And Aaron Nola's just been outstanding on the road. 4 earned runs allowed in his last 5 road starts. Miles Michaelis has been solid at home, but he's been prone to giving up a few runs here and there, and I think that just could be enough against this Phillies team. I expect it to be a low-scoring win for the Phillies.
Who do you think is the toughest college football fan base to deal with, like on the internet? Like who's large and
In-
charge and big and loud and bad.
I was going to say, in terms of just being obnoxious, like hard to deal with, or just
I would say, you have the obnoxious, hard to deal with, and then you have the guys who really know their stuff and are tough to deal with. So not like Ohio State is just obnoxious and hard to deal with, right? But then you have like the guys that like really know their stuff, like and are just really tough customers. Like
for me, obnoxious and hard to deal with would be Texas, because it always seems like it's always going to be their year, and then they get pissed off when it's not.
It's never
And
I think they know that though.
But man, know their stuff. Man, that's hard. That's hard.
All right, well, we'll come back to it. But
yeah, come back.
For me, first death threat I ever got was TCU fans. Second death threat I ever got was Clemson fans, and third was Ohio State. So those are my three my three first death threats, and my fourth was Alabama, which I'd say the Alabama fans are generally super tough. I would say the Auburn fans, really, really respectful. LSU fans, super knowledgeable. Super, super knowledgeable, the LSU fans. And I would say the Georgia fans still think the war is going on. So you got to really watch out there. It's them and us, the Yankees. it's like, it's like I was at an LSU Georgia game and LSU. I was a little scared, to be honest with you. Brian, what do you think of these games?
In this grouping of games here, I'm going to double dip in the New York Mets and Atlanta Braves. I'm going to take probably a Captain Obvious under here between these two pitchers. I could see Scherzer, another miraculous performance, and Max Fried's continue to get stronger as the year goes on. I could see it 2-1 all day, kind of like that Miami Marlins pitching performance from Alcantara. And I'm going to take the New York Mets on the money line. I just think after Scherzer's first game, where the Mets didn't produce any runs, I think they at least step up and get 2 or 3 for him here. So I'm going to take the New York Mets.
Tell you what, man. I like that Yurfie in the Mets-Braves game. I think that's the best Yurfie of the day. I think the under is definitely on the table in that game all the way. But these are pitchers, Scherzer and Fried, that if you're going to get to them, you got to get them early. And Scherzer, when he gives up runs, it's kind of he gives them up early. And I think, to Trevor Rogers' defense, he usually will give up runs early, but he's pretty tough after that, when you get into like the third inning. But the problem with Rogers is it's not just first inning, it's first and second, right? So it's like, you get him into the third inning. If he can make it that long, he's generally pretty tough, gets you out of the fifth, maybe the sixth if it's a good day. But Max Scherzer, when he gets hit, it's normally the first inning, and it's normally challenging guys with a fastball. We saw actually the Phillies rack him up earlier this year when he tried to blow the fastball past Schwarber. Did not work for him. He was like
Schwarber's on pace for like 60 homers.
Yep. Alabama fans are Alabama fans are tough. They're knowledgeable about their team, but somewhat blind to the rest of the college football world that it exists.
I was gonna say they think it's all about them. It's Alabama.
Yeah.
One, everybody else second.
Yeah, it's like, when Alabama had every top recruit, life was pretty easy for them. I think what we saw last year when Georgia, woodshedded them in the national championship game, and when we saw, Clemson woodshed them in the national championship game just a few years ago, and then LSU also beat them like a dog, with the Joe Burrow team. It's not going to be so easy for Alabama, and as the Nick Saban era starts to wind down, where do they go next? Because I don't think Bill Belichick's going to take that job like they think he is. Like they're expecting, when Saban goes, it's Dabo Swinney or Bill Belichick, or something, I think Dabo Swinney, though, is certainly a candidate for that job, especially with Clemson pulling back a little bit. Anyways, I like mixing in the college football. I love college football. Everyone knows that. Grew up with it. That's why I'm here today.
The first weekend of college football looks rough. Week 0. I looked at it.
Well, week 0 is always rough, and actually, a lot of those games don't even really make it. Like we cover them, but it really is almost like that week doesn't happen, right? It's never like highly, it's never like a big fanfare like week 1. We have some really good games in week 1. I think Georgia Oregon is week 1.
Yeah, I didn't look at week 1, just week 0.
Georgia lost half their team from last year, so more than half their team. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. Yeah, week 1. Let's look at some of the games from week 1. Week 0 is always nothing, but week 1 on the Thursday night openers, Ball State, Tennessee, Pitt, West Virginia, the backyard brawl on Thursday night, September 1st. Oklahoma State, Central Michigan, Penn State, Purdue on opening Thursday night. That Thursday night is generally seen as the opening night. And then Friday, it's followed up. You got Indiana, Illinois. You've got Michigan State, Western Michigan, and TCU, Colorado, all on that Friday night of week 1. And then when you go to Saturday and those neutral site games and the other big games, Oregon, Georgia, that one's in Atlanta. You've got, of course, Miami, Bethune-Cookman, that big matchup.
They're really opening up with a tough contest.
Cincinnati, Arkansas looks really good.
What, Miami, Bethune-Cookman?
Yeah, it's real.
They play Texas A&M at Texas A&M the next week. So,
all right, well. Still not on the level. No.
Utah, Florida, Memphis, Mississippi State. There's a lot of good ones week 1.
But they played Alabama week 1 last year. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm missing it. It's like, it's like they opened with Alabama last year.
I'm
Texas.
just warming up on bashing Miami.
Miami, the problem, and Notre Dame, Ohio State is also week 1. The issue you have with bashing Miami, that's not how you bash them, because when it comes to out-of-conference scheduling, they've always scheduled big out-of-conference, and the only time they haven't scheduled big out-of-conference is when teams drop them from the schedule, and that happens all the time.
Who's their out-of-conference this season?
Well, Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M.
Southern Miss and Middle Tennessee. So other than Texas A&M, it's a pretty weak out-of-conference.
But when they have like a Middle Tennessee on there or something, that usually means that there was another game that was scheduled, and because of the conference realignments and stuff, that team dropped them from the schedule. It happens all the time. Last year the out of conference was Michigan State, App State, some other teams, and the year before that, the Michigan State game was canceled because of the COVID. And Big Ten decided they didn't want to play until then they saw everybody else was playing, making money, and it's like, everyone else is getting all the money. Anyways, there's a lot of good games out there. Louisville, Syracuse, week 1. South Carolina, Georgia State. There's a Bitler game for you. How about this one? Utah at Florida.
Wow.
You don't see that too often.
Nope.
Rice at USC. Craziness. North Carolina at App State. Rutgers at Boston College. Colorado State at Michigan. Buffalo, Maryland. South Dakota State Jackrabbits at Iowa. They're actually not a bad team, South Dakota State. I bet you they give Iowa a run for their money in that one. Anyways, what are you selling today, Brian?
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could find an upset there in week 1.
Yeah, we're going to have plenty of time to talk about these games, and we'll talk about them tomorrow and every day between now and September 3rd.
Yep, I'm getting excited. All right, winning day yesterday, 2-1. Lost my titanium play, but overall 23-9 runs, 72%. You can get my best bet, my titanium play, just $15, or my no limit play for later on in the evening, just $30, or those two plays in my 3-pack, my pound money shot 3-pack for just $50.
Florida State versus LSU, and also on opening weekend. Chris?
Ooh, that's a good one. For me, I got my $15 pickoff play, going for 4 in a row. Had a great day yesterday, 4-0, trying to keep the momentum going into today. I also got that $15 play as part of my Monday Moonshot 3-pack for $40 over at Pick Dogs Premium, and use that code July 14th for 14% off.
I got my $15 big play. Took my worst big play loss of the season yesterday. Got absolutely smoked. I had the Padres. They got crushed. I mean, it was they all count the same, win by 1 run or, 20 runs. But there's certain games where it's like, you're down 2-0 and you're kind of like, all right, that's weird, that we're already down 2-0, gives a 2-run home run. Then they give up another 2-run home run. It's like, it's 4-0. All right, we still got a chance. And then it's like, all of a sudden you realize there's no chance. It's kind of like it's early in the game. It's third inning, whatever. Now, there's no chance, there's no chance we're going to win. And you kind of just move on, but it happens.
That's how I felt with that Rangers game yesterday. Every time I looked, they came back and then they blew it. They came back and they blew it and they ended up losing. But
it happens, they all count the same. But, anyways, I got $15 big play. It seems that I'm losing 1, then winning 2. I've been in a kind of this pattern the last week and a half on those $15 plays. So I lost yesterday, so good chance of winning today based on the pattern. The streaks. Move back to Major League Baseball here. We've got the I like the Guardians against the White Sox. Forgot to mention that.
you said that the price mystifies you on that game, but you didn't say mystify, but surprises you. But the Guardians have lost 2 of 10 games, so I think that.
Yeah, but they own the White Sox. I mean, they beat the crap out of the White Sox traditionally, especially at home.
I just meant the Guardians aren't setting the world on fire.
I mean, Bieber's an early dog tomorrow against Cease on the early line.
Gal Cease is a stud.
I like Bieber in that one. We've got the Texas Rangers up against the Oakland Athletics. We've got the Royals and the Tigers, when one game between these two just isn't enough. Got the Rockies, Jose Urena with the varsity here against the Padres. Sean Manaea, I haven't seen him pitch in Colorado too much. I imagine this is going to be, whew. I mean, yeah, I thought that Nationals-Brave games yesterday would be a high-scoring one, so maybe my picker's off. But I'm telling you, Jose Urena, Coors Field, Sean Manaea, I don't know.
Urena did pitch 6 innings, only gave up 1 run in his 1 start, but we know who Urena is. So.
Urena. Jose Urena. Got the Giants against the Diamondbacks, too. Alex Cobb and Merrill Kelly. Brian, what do you think of these 4 gems? Spencer Howard, I know is one of your guys, and Adrian Martinez. This is the stable.
I'm going to do Texas Rangers, Oakland A's on the drive-thru today, so make sure you guys tune in for that.
Ooh, I was thinking I wouldn't be able to catch the show, but now I'll be sure to definitely tune in. Brian's covering Rangers A's on the drive-thru.
Tigers Royals.
Rangers 3-7 in their last 10. The A's 4-6. This is a can't miss moment.
Can't miss game. Yeah.
Way to promote the show.
Tigers Royals. I feel like if you bet the same amount on the Tigers in both Game 1 and Game 2, that you're guaranteed to come out with a profit today. I don't see the Tigers getting swept. Royals laying this kind of juice. Fado has been pretty bad. He struggles to go 4 innings, but Lynch is no gem either. So for me, it's Detroit Tigers here, Arizona, and the Giants. Giants really broke out yesterday. Actually, they've won 2 straight, but I like Merrill Kelly here, and you're getting some nice plus money. Usually when the Giants are this, not saying minus 155 super high juice, but I like to look on the other side when it's over minus 150. I like Arizona here.
Chris?
Yeah, for me, I'm going to go with the over in that Rangers-A's game pitching matchup. If that doesn't scream 9 runs by the middle innings, well, then I don't know what does. Spencer Howard has not been great, and Adrian Martinez hasn't been very good either in a A's uniform. I just like Corey Seager to hit a home run in that one. For Detroit, Kansas City, I'm going to get Fado, the old Fado, and I'm also not going to back Daniel Lynch. I think Brian's theory on the back putting the equal amounts on the Tigers. I think if you put equal amounts on the over in both games, you'll be guaranteed profit. I expect there to be a ton of runs in that doubleheader. And I'm going to go with the Colorado Rockies. I don't love Jose Urena, but like Brian said, he threw 6 really good innings against the Dodgers in his debut. And we all know how well the Rockies are hitting lefties this season. So I think Sean Manaea could be in some trouble. He's struggled in lesser spots. I'm going to go with the Colorado Rockies here.
Who's your favorite Howard? Would it be Spencer Howard, Ron Howard, or Curly Moe, or Shemp Howard?
I'll go off the board. Tim Howard, American goalkeeper he played for Everton all those years back.
Shemp Howard.
Yeah, I'd go for Shemp. Maybe Curly. I like Curly, but I think I don't know. I'm a Shemp guy. Nothing wrong with Shemp.
You think since we're both bald, we would go with Curly, but
yeah, but I think Curly's like a little zany for me, but Shemp's funny. Like Curly's zany. My favorite Curly. I shot an arrow in the air. Where it goes, I do not care. I get my arrows wholesale. Anyways, Chris, what's your parlay for today?
I'm going to go with the over in the A's and Rangers, the Colorado Rockies on the money line, and the over 9 White Sox and Guardians.
For me, in my parlay, I'm going to take the New York Mets on the money line. Mets Braves under the 7 runs. And then I'm going to finish it off there with the Tampa Bay Rays.
I'm going to use our best parlay tool to do a 4-teamer here. Jesus Aguilar to hit a home run at plus 500. Gavin Sheets to hit a home run at plus 430. Sean Murphy to record at least one double against the in his game today, and Javier Baez to record an RBI. $10 pays $4,054.50. Not bad. All of those seem realistic too, right? All of those seem actually pretty good. I mean, Aguilar against Keller. I like that. I like Sheets. Sean Murphy for a double.
You could toss in Scherzer and free runs first inning into that maybe.
Yeah, throw a little Yerfy action. Why not? Anyways, thanks everyone for joining us. This was fun. We had some time to talk about some other stuff, and we'll continue to. We have the All-Star break coming up. We don't take a break for those. We continue to roll on. So we'll probably do some NFL divisional previews those days, and just general overall player movement and how it's going to affect teams and things like that. We always find something to talk about. Even give some home run derby picks and talk why I don't watch the All-Star game anymore. Anyways, make it a winning day. We appreciate each and every one of you. Use that code 14% off July 14. Make it a winning day.